Hey everybody, I'm William.
I'm Kina.
And we are the Nerdyweds.
I am Heidi Archer. I am the owner of Meloria, where we specialize in chainmail, magic, and miscellany. I do a lot of, obviously, chainmail, scale mail. I specialize in stainless steel and titanium, that I anodize. I color them all myself before I assemble. All of these are colored with electricity, and I do all that in-house. And then I also do a lot of laser engraving. I specialize in a lot of fandom, pride, these dice earrings, and I do a lot of other, fun things as the ADD and dopamine flows. So, for example, I have some of the things on my laser. I do some laser engraved home goods. I specialize again also in the laser engraved home goods, such as things for your game room, shadow boxes, coasters, journals, dice trays, things like that. So,
how long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this since 2014. Wow. And I've been doing shows since around 2015. They've been great, and so I've grown as the business has grown. Obviously, I've come to places like Dragon Con, and you can also find me at San Diego Comic-Con, Gen Con, sometimes Origins Game Fair, a lot of local Pride events in New England, because that's where we're out of. And then if there's ever a show that you want to see me at, you can always hit me up on my social medias. But the best place to reach me, and email, and then the best place to reach me to send me suggestions is Facebook and Instagram.
Now, how did you get into this? Did you start out with one thing and branched out?
I did. I started out with the chainmail, and then I lived in a very tiny apartment in Massachusetts, and I didn't have a lot of room to practice with my sewing machine and get a lot of stuff, so I got a couple of kits and some pliers, and I started doing that, and it just kind of grew from there. And then I started with just anodized aluminum, and then as I've grown, I've gotten the ability to and the tools to do my own titanium, and then I do a lot of stainless steel as well.
So, is there any one thing you're passionate about, or is it just creating?
I love to create. I always tell people when they ask if something's on my website that I'm really bad at that administrative and clerical side of things. Because I would rather be the one making the stuff, so I'm trying to train my husband to actually come into the business and do all the clerical stuff for me, so I don't have to do it.
This is some beautiful stuff, and you mentioned game rooms. We're really into board games, and a lot of your stuff caught our eye with the dice tray. How do you come up with some of the sayings? Because they're hilarious. They're really good.
A lot of it is I hang out at our friendly local game store in Derry, New Hampshire. It's called Midgard. And so a lot of these sayings are things that some of the nerds actually have said, and they've said, oh, I'd love to see that. For example, the free action, or crying is a free action. And so, things like the dice giveth and the dice taketh away. My husband plays Warhammer, and so we also play D&D, and so yeah, the dice can do great things for you, but the dice can also do really poor things for you. So yeah, we kind of go from there, and I sometimes will work with a graphic artist because I can't draw to save my soul, and to help with some of the digital art that goes with some of these pieces.
What is some advice you would give to other small business owners in general, but then also for those that want to come to a big convention like Dragon Con? What is some advice you'd give them?
Just keep applying, and find that one thing that makes you happy to make, or, again, I follow the dopamine, so I get on a lot of hyperfixations, but I always come back to, I'll sit and anodize titanium for hours, or I'll sit and capture dice for hours, because it just makes me happy. So yeah, so my suggestion would be just keep applying. It took a few years to get into here for us. It took years to get into San Diego. San Diego I got very lucky. That was the one thing about the pandemic, is some businesses that didn't make it through, I was able to get up on that wait list. So yay. But yeah, so my thing is if you hate doing something, even if you're like, this would be a great business opportunity, if you hate it, don't do it. Because it's just going to suck your soul. You might as well be at a Monday through Friday job that pushing numbers and papers, and find something that you love to do. And if you can monetize it, and it makes sense to monetize it, great, and you want to monetize it, great. But if you hate it and you're just like, this is soul sucking and mind numbing, don't do it. You know, there are even things that I've made before that I don't make anymore, just because I get to the point where I get bored making it. Or I say, okay, well, this took a lot of time, this took a lot of energy, this took a lot of effort, and it didn't really pay off for my customers. They didn't really receive it well. I found it to be not as enriching to make it. And so I usually will just retire it. And so, you know, and if somebody says, oh, will you make that for me custom? Probably, yeah. But will I bring it back into the shop full time? Probably not. Or I have a lot of community that I'm like, I know such and such that really likes making X, Y, and Z. Let me send you to them and support their small business. You can have somebody who does the same thing, but if you have a different aesthetic and you have your own spin on it, it's not about competition, it's about support and enrichment of each other, because you're always going to be slightly different. As long as you have like a different aesthetic, a different take on things, and you make it your own, that's like, just realize that one of the vendors over on the other side, she and I both do chainmail, we both do titanium, we both specialize in like a lot of the dragony, witchy, fantasy things, but we have such a different aesthetic that we feed off of each other, and we'll send, you know, I know what she has and she knows what I have, so we send each other customers quite a bit because we have a different aesthetic, and it's about support, because if she fails, it's like, you know, we're friends, you know, then you're watching your friend fail,
right?
And you don't want to do that, so.
There's room for everyone.
There is. There's always room for somebody else
going
at the table
as well.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to end on that positive note about support.
Yep.
And we appreciate you guys supporting us, letting us do this vendor spotlight.
Absolutely.
And taking the time from look around for a busy schedule. There was even more people over here just a second ago, and you took time to talk to us and everyone out there watching. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time,
Stay nerdy.